Alright, we're going to start out with 2-1 here, where we have a function f of x equals this, and for part A we're going to express this in words. So you're going to cube x, then multiply by 2, and finally subtract 1. There's many ways to say this. This is one of several. And then if I wanted to do f of -2, I would do 2 times -2 cubed minus 1. Calculator will do the order of operations for you, or if you don't have a calculator, you can do the order of operations. And -16 minus 1 is -17. If I did f of pi, we would do 2 times pi cubed minus 1. That one, if you don't have a calculator, it would be hard to fix it, or to simplify it, it turns out to be 61.01. So, for example number 2, it sort of asks us to do the same thing. If I had f of x equals 3x squared minus 1x plus 4, and I did f of -4, we got 3 times -4 squared minus 1 times -4 plus 4. 3 times 16 plus 4, because 2 negatives make the positive. And of course, that turns out to be 56. If we had a fraction, let's do 1/3. 3 times 1/3 squared minus 1 times 1/3 plus 4. That would be 1/3 minus 1/3 plus 4, because this would actually be 3 times 1/9, which is 1/3. And 1/3 minus 1/3, I didn't mean for those to cancel, but they did, and so my answer would be 4. And so really all we did was plug in numbers in for x and evaluate the function in example 1 and 2. So for this next problem, we're going to use this piecewise function. And first I'm going to use f of -1, because -1 is less than 1. I'm going to put it into the bottom half, because you're either going to put it into the top one or the bottom one, or if there's 3, you always just choose 1, because you're always going to get one answer in a function. So -1 squared minus 1 turns out to be 1 minus 1, which is equal to 0. If I said, what is f of 1, and I'll do this one in blue, once again, because it's less than or equal, I'm still using the bottom one. In fact, I made a mistake here. It was minus -1, so it should have been 1 plus 1, which is 2. Now when I do f of 1 in blue, we get 1 squared minus 1, which is 1 minus 1, which is 0. Now finally, I'll use this little corner for f of 3. Now because 3 is bigger than 1, I'm going to use the top equation, which is 3 times 3 plus 4. Well, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 4 equals 13. Alright, for this next one, we have 2x squared minus 3x plus 8, and they want to know what f of a plus h is. So anywhere I see an x, I'm going to plug in a plus h. So now, when I do a plus h squared, remember that is a plus h times a plus h, which, when we multiply it out, it's going to be a squared plus 2ah plus h squared. And then we're going to multiply that by 2. And then this green part here is 3a minus 3h. Make sure the negative comes with the 3 plus 8. So distribute the 2. So we wind up with 2a squared plus 4ah plus 2h squared minus 3a minus 3h plus 8. Now, because each and every one of these is not a common term, this long thing is my answer. So let's try another one. Let's do f of x equals 2x squared minus 3. And let's use the formula that we had in our notes. And it says that h isn't equal to 0, because if we had h equals 0, then we wouldn't do it. So we all know that f of a is pretty easy, because that's just 2a squared minus 3. Now, f of a plus h is a little bit more complicated. That would be 2a plus h squared minus 3. Now we take a look back here. A plus h squared was this. And instead of doing it again, we're going to just assume that's correct again. Or not assume, but it didn't change from one problem to the next. And then I'm going to distribute the 2. So I got 2a squared, there was a 2 in there, plus 4ah plus h squared minus 3. And this box goes right in here. So h is on the bottom. 2a squared plus 4ah plus h squared plus 2h squared, because when I distribute, it should have been 2h squared minus 3. Minus the first part, which was this part in green, 2a squared minus 3. So what's normally going to happen in a problem like this if we do it right? Here I have 2a squared minus 2a squared, so cross them out, because they cancel. Here I have negative 3 minus negative 3, so those guys cancel out. So we're left with 4ah plus 2h squared over h. Now I know this is one of the longer, more complicated problems, but all three things have an h in common. So here's an h, I'm going to cancel that out. Here's an h, I can cancel that out. And here's h squared, so I can cancel one of them out, which means I have one left. So my answer is 4a plus 2h. And the rest of 2-1 will be in the next video.